Hey family, what's going on? So listen, I have this program that I did a couple of years ago called 90 Days to Home Ownership Challenge. And I am bringing that challenge back. So what does that challenge look like? That challenge looks like walking you through what it might appear to be the process to buying a home in the next 90 days. And so each week there's a different topic, something for a discussion for you to learn about that process. And I want to bring this back. And I'm not doing anything in person, any classes, because I'll be honest, some of y'all won't sign up anyway. I still love you. But what I'm going to do is I have this download that I'll send out to anybody who wants to participate. What does this 90-day challenge entail? So the 90-day challenge, and I want to make it clear, I have put people in homes faster than 90 days. Okay, let's be clear. I have some amazing lenders that I work with who have closed people in as fast as 8 and 9 days. Yes, it's possible. And yes, those people still live in their homes. And so the whole goal of this is just to walk you through that process, because you might not be ready in 8 or 9 days. You might need a little bit more time, which is understandable. So what am I going to be talking about? If you want the download so that you could see it for yourself, just comment 90 days. If you don't want your friends or family knowing that you're buying a house, DM me. I do take people's confidential information serious. You can DM me and just say 90 days, and I'll know exactly what it is you want. And I'm telling you, this is the starter kit to what does home ownership look like? What does buying a home look like? Even if you did it 5, 10 years ago, it looks different today. So in the download, you'll have the information about what to consider before buying a home. We'll talk about how to choose an agent. All agents are not created equal. And so what I will provide for you is a questionnaire on the questions to ask your agent. My favorite part is the debt to income ratio. We'll talk about what debt to income ratio is, how to calculate it before you even talk to a lender. And then we'll talk about the mortgage process. What does that mortgage process look like? Because a lot of people, they go on TikTok, they Google, they go to Chat GPT, and they have all these assumptions, and none of those platforms are the one that are going to be loaning you the money. And so I want to talk to you from my perspective. And then if you want me to, I'll bring in a lender and we'll talk about the financing piece. And just one caveat, a lot of times I see people want to go fix their credit before they even talk to a lender. I am telling you, wait. Okay, talk to the lender first and say, listen, I might be looking of buying a home. I just said this to a client today. Just hung up the phone with the client, and I told him, before you start talking to creditors about fixing your credit, talk to the lender and let them tell you what needs to be fixed, what not to fix, because you'd be surprised what you don't have to touch. The next thing, and I'm going to give you a questionnaire on what to ask the lender. The next thing we'll talk about is understanding your wants versus needs. Everybody knows what they want, but do we understand what we need and what's involved in purchasing your home? Then we'll talk about how that process looks. There's several places you can buy a home from. There's a lot of opportunity out there, but understanding how to get the best deal is really, really important. And then I'll give you a home sheet. And mind you, you still have not left your house to get all of this information. We'll talk about what looking at a house looks like. And as a Texas Realtor, there are lots of changes that just came out because of, well, you know what happened. There's lots of changes that came out. And so I don't want you to feel pressed if somebody says to you, well, I have to have this sign before I can show you the inside of this house. So we're going to talk about what that process looks like and a showing checklist, what to look for when you're in this house, because you can get past the purple paint on the wall. Yes, I had a client who had his wall painted purple because that went with his fraternity, and he was going to make sure you knew that he was purple and gold. So you can look past paint. We can have a whole paint party. Let me digress and move on. Writing an offer. What skill set do I bring when writing an offer? Well, the one skill set that I bring is I know all the ways that a buyer can get out of a contract. I also know that there are ways, more than two, that a seller can back out. And so understanding that when I'm writing the contract and helping to prepare my client is a big deal. We're going to talk about what that process looks like. And then we'll talk about the money that you need when you are writing offers. So what money do I need to have in hand when I'm getting ready to write that offer? We'll talk about that. And then we'll talk about how inspections work, insurance, taxes, home warranties, because I'll hear people say, well, I like to rent because I'm not responsible for anything. You have renter's insurance for a reason, but we'll talk about what that looks like and how you can get some of those same coverages as a homeowner. And then we'll talk about inspection cheat sheet. Like, what should I be looking for on an inspection? Like, the inspector told me that, the circuit breaker was jacked up. What should I do? We'll talk about insurance. There's so many riders that you can get, y'all. My friend Michelle Hambrick is an insurance broker, and I had no idea that fence repair was a rider that you can get, that if something happens to your fence, you have your insurance covered. I had no idea. So we're going to talk about that. We'll also talk about what to do when you go under contract, because it's a lot of steps that need to be filled in, like appraisal and title search and things like that. And then we'll talk about what is a title company? What do they do? So y'all, the closing, what to do about utilities and your mail and all that fun stuff. So this next 90 days, there is more to this. I'm just going through the list right now. This next 90 days is going to be important for anyone who is ready to invest in themselves. If you're not ready to invest, that's okay. You can still come on this ride with us so that you can help somebody else who wants to get educated on purchasing a home. I rocks with everybody. So I hope you get to join me. Again, if you want the download when this is going to start, it's literally a PDF that you can fill out to go along with what I'm going to be talking about each week. Just put in the comments 90 days. And if you're scared to let people know that you're about to buy a house, you can DM me, because I keep it personal and confidential, and just say 90 days. I hope this was helpful. Always, always remember, information is free. It is what you do with that information that determines your future. I hope I get to see you over the next 90 days. Bye, guys.